It's absolutely incredible what Andor is able to accomplish and what this, especially this Narkina 5 prison arc is able to accomplish as far as like an examination into the human spirit. As hopeless as these episodes feel, I feel like your character actually represents a different kind of hope when it comes to someone who's so committed to the system and committed to the cause, actually having their eyes opened. I know that last moment in episode 9, never more than 12, has already become an iconic moment for Star Wars fans. What do you feel like this character of Kino can represent to audiences and can represent about our current system and about people who are especially committed to the way things are, actually having an avenue to having their eyes open and being able to respond to the atrocities of certain commitments of fascism?
That's that's beautifully put, and it is an incredible distillation, I think, Narkina 5, of a totalitarian system which epitomizes divide and rule. We live in a culture, we in the show, they live in a culture that I think really does closely reflect how political ideologies and systems do divide and rule across the world, across the globe in various different ways. And the power of the individual to shape the future, and the courage, when you have the ability to have courage to face up to that and to actually start the ball rolling, and then from small beginnings to inspire and bring people together to actually collectively stop something that you entirely disbelieve and know is affecting the moral fabric of the world and that we live in. I think when you actually come across those people, and they are such inspirational, we all need inspirational people now more than ever, and I think this arc really speaks to that. And Cassian is a brilliant example of someone who is an everyman character who is questioning. And I think that's the most important thing about this whole series, is that everyone is challenged to question, keep questioning, because if you just accept, that is the easiest way to have to be led into a world before you know it, where you have no control. And I think, and that what's so beautiful about Tony Gilroy's world within the Star Wars universe is that he's able to articulate that, and yet it still feels epic, mythic, but it's grounded and has it feels like a gray area.
Yeah, and it's interesting because I know you're working on Animal Farm, which also has similar themes about totalitarianism and working in this system and kind of being blinded by the system. How do you feel like, I feel like this is a strong question, but how do you feel like art can actually have an impact and an influence on an audience watching these themes continue to come up, but be a little bit more heavy-handed and become more and more relevant now more than ever, especially with current issues that we're currently facing? Do you feel like it will have an impact on people?
I really do. And I mean, even if it's not kind of, for instance, like Tolkien, when he was in the foreword to Lord of the Rings, he expressly says, "I am not writing allegory. I'm not, allegory is it kind of has its own sort of dictatorial nature about it." Well, he was creating a world, a mythical world, for you to then make your own mind up about it. And so I think that's really important in art, not to necessarily go, this means this particular belief system, or this is a direct. Orwell slightly more. He was writing allegorically, but I think what's so wonderful about, say, the Star Wars universe is that it allows the watcher to feel and draw their own conclusions without being, in a heavy-handed way, told what to think. You can draw your own parallels wherever you happen to be, whatever your viewpoint is in the world. It'll resonate for you in a different way to someone in a different situation, but maybe who's going through a similar process. If that makes sense. It's like, and I think that's what's so great about all of the great kind of mythic universes that are our stories at the moment, and that why people are drawn to watch them on screen.
Yeah, it's absolutely fascinating. And I love that these themes keep coming up, especially in these last few episodes when it comes to Andor. I want to quickly get your thoughts on, I know everyone is buzzing about Andor, but they're also buzzing about Wakanda Forever. I'm curious to hear your thoughts on Ryan and the cast and the story that they're able to tell, and how excited you are about this movie that everyone's going crazy for, and if what your thoughts are on what you've seen so far.
You know, I have not seen anything of Wakanda Forever, but I am
Gotcha.
so excited to go and watch it as a fan. Ryan again is another brilliant director who is makes films exactly along the lines of what we've been talking about. You know, there is huge message contained within, you know, smuggled in entertainment, and he's another brilliant he's another brilliant exponent of that, and yet have huge heart and just really engaging storytelling. It's so I'm really looking forward to seeing it.
Absolutely. And I love how this show is able to talk about so many Star Wars themes that we come up nowadays more than ever. But it's interesting how episode 9 talks a lot about Andor's relationship with leadership, and how he's slowly evolving into the leader he's meant to be, and how your character of Kino is actually one of the first people who captures that. He's able to sense this quality inside of Cassian's character. What do you think that the main theme or the main message being communicated as far as what it is to be a leader, and what is the importance and the responsibility of being that leader?
That's a big question, and
Yes.
Kino, I think Kino comes from a place where he is inherently a decent person, and that I mean, I invented this sort of backstory for him where he was you know, a shop steward or a factory foreman who has always stood up for the rights of workers, and that he is good at galvanizing people, and he is a natural leader. And I think the Empire will have seen that as a threat, because he has the power to, you know, to collectivize people and make them you know, say we are many together. And I think that's why he was being incarcerated. At that point, his spirit is broken, brutally sort of broken down, and he becomes a functionary, and just wants to get through his incarceration and get out and get back to his family. What the arrival of Cassian, it reignites his own truth and reignites his ability to care and serve beyond his own needs, and to think about working for the greater good. And I think that's what he recognizes in Cassian. And actually, it's almost like Cassian is holding a mirror up to Kino, and Kino's almost you know, holding a mirror up to Cassian as well. So they both are emboldened by this strange meeting of forces.
Yeah, I find that absolutely fascinating. Obviously, the character of Kino and the relationship between Cassian, I think is an incredible bond that they're currently facing right now. Last thing I want to get to real quick is I love your directing style. I know you got a lot of praise for Venom, and you currently are working on directing more and more stuff. How have you ever considered maybe returning to Star Wars as a potential director, whether it's a TV show, an episode, or maybe even a film?
Absolutely. I mean, I love the universe. Who would not want to? I mean,
Yes.
of course, it's a delicious kind of environment to be in, and it's so rich. Of course. So
Andy, I want to thank you so much for your time. I really do feel like this arc is absolutely beautiful. The amount of themes and messages they're communicating about humanity, the human spirit, about the fight against fascism, about all these themes that we see now and now more in days that are becoming more relevant, and the way your character embodies so much of that. I feel like it's absolutely beautiful, it's timely, it's relevant, And I greatly appreciate it as a Star Wars fan and just a fan of media in general. So thank you so much for your time. And
Thank
thank you
you.
for delivering this incredible character of Kino Loy.
Thank you very much. And thanks for a great debate and a great set of questions. Thank you.
Oh, thank you so much, Andy.